I got to say, this text on early Christianity has really got me thinking.
Oh, yeah. I was so...
Well, way before organized religion, churches and denominations and all that. How did those early Christians connect with God? What did their faith actually look like day to day?
It's fascinating, isn't it? I mean, without those established structures, their everyday life, it basically became their spiritual path.
Exactly. And this text, it keeps using this phrase, fidelity to the order established by God. Sounds kind of intense, right?
It does have a certain weight to it, yeah.
So what exactly does that mean? What was this order, and how did people actually live it out?
Well, imagine this. Each moment, even the most ordinary ones, held a specific duty, a chance to align yourself with God's will. Like waking up could be a time for quiet reflection, gratitude.
Okay, I can see that.
Preparing a meal.
Yeah.
It could be an act of service, nourishing yourself and others, mirroring God's care for us.
Like a direct reflection of that.
Exactly. And even things like, tending fields, crafting pottery.
Really? Even those things?
Absolutely. If done with intention, with awareness, those everyday tasks became a form of worship.
So it's like every part of life had this deeper meaning woven into it.
Precisely. It wasn't about just blindly following rules. It was about recognizing that inherent order in daily life, seeing those everyday things as expressions of faith.
That really makes you think twice about how we move through our days,
Yeah.
Just going through the motions or really being present. Were there any figures from this time that really embodied this kind of, fidelity in a powerful way?
Well, the text points to Mary, the mother of Jesus, as a prime example.
Yeah.
Actually, it calls her the most simple of all creatures.
Simple, but not in a in a naive way, right?
Exactly. The text defines it as purity of intention.
Purity of intention.
Her famous Fiat mihi, let it be done to me according to your word, that wasn't passive acceptance, It was this radical alignment with a power greater than herself.
Wow. Complete surrender.
Exactly.
It makes me think of the Lord's Prayer, right? Thy will be done. It's like this timeless concept, surrendering to something bigger than ourselves.
Yeah.
You see it echoing through different faiths, different spiritual practices.
Absolutely. That idea of letting go of control, of surrendering to a higher purpose, it opens us up to a whole new way of being in the world, wouldn't you say?
Totally. Now, this text also talks about how early Christians found God in the ordinary and the extraordinary. How did they see the divine in, everyday life?
Well, think about it. Without all the distractions of our modern world, they lived in a world so much closer to nature, to the cycles of life and death.
Right, it was all much more immediate.
It was, but the core idea, it's still relevant today. It's about cultivating an awareness, a connection to something bigger than ourselves.
Even in our busy, often chaotic world.
Especially in our busy world,
Yeah.
It becomes a practice. What if, instead of rushing through your to-do list, you paused for a moment? Just appreciated the warmth of the sun on your face. Or felt gratitude for a kind word from a stranger, These small intentional moments, they become threads of the divine. They get woven into the tapestry of our day.
I love that image. It takes this, kind of ancient idea, makes it feel so much more tangible, so much more applicable to our lives.
It's about finding those little ways to connect.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, what does it all mean for us today?
Well, I think it's about recognizing those hidden operations, those small acts of intention, of alignment, the things that connect us to something bigger.
It's about asking ourselves, if our lives are a tapestry, what kind of thread are we using? Where do we see those hidden operations in our own lives, those little acts of intention of aligning ourselves with something greater?
It's a question worth pondering, don't you think?
It really is.